Speaking of Justice Department targets, Andrew Cuomo.
The theme today is corruption.
Yes. So Andrew Cuomo still running for mayor of New York City. Eric Adams has dropped out. I saw Bill Ackman begging the beret-wearing Curtis Sliwa, who people keep finding like archival clips of Curtis Sliwa being a real one. Like this guy's fun. Who's not fun? Andrew Cuomo. Here he is on Stephanie Rule.
There is no governor in the United States of America, no elected official who fought more with Donald Trump than I did. None.
You share a lot of his same donors right now. There are a lot of New Yorkers who are very excited about your campaign, who are also very excited about Donald Trump. Don't tell me that's not true.
Are there New Yorkers who gave money to me and gave money to Donald Trump? Of course. Of course.
Why is that an of course?
Well, why not? If you are a New Yorker, you know Donald Trump, you know me. Many of them would give money to Donald Trump and give money to me. And money.
Why? What do you and Donald Trump share in common?
We're New Yorkers. They know me, they know him.
But let's just stay on this, and I don't want to take too much more of your time because I'm surprised by this. You think that something about Donald Trump makes someone give Donald Trump a check and Andrew Cuomo a check. What is that thing that the two of you both share?
I think there are people who know him and people who know me. I think
what are those things?
The personal knowledge. He lived here. I live here. You may be a friend of Donald Trump. You may know me. You may contribute to him. You may contribute to me.
But
there's no similarity.
So there's. I mean, what are you going to do? It's ridiculous. His idea that Cuomo's the last one that Trump wants to be mayor. Like Trump is publicly, actively campaigning for him, basically. Like, who are you lying to?
I love it when the politician is so bad that Stephanie Rule looks like Walter Cronkite.
Yes.
That's incredible stuff.
I mean, she spotted that. She's like, hold on a second here.
This is perfect.
Yeah, let's roll C2 also.
You were not criminally charged, but investigators in the DOJ have found the claims credible. So what do you say to voters who have a hard time looking past this?
Yeah, it's a good question. When the report was issued, I said I believed it was politically motivated, and it was. I didn't even know the allegations at that time, right? It was done in a report. I didn't even know who the individuals were. We then spent 5 years. That report went to 5 district attorneys all over the state. No one found anything. It was then civilly litigated in court, the individual actions for 5 years. That came to nothing. I was dropped from the cases. So nothing came from those allegations. I did say if I offended anyone in any way, I didn't mean it. And I learned a lesson, a painful lesson, which is to be much more cautious about everything you say, any joke, any comment. I won't kiss a person on the cheek unless they initiate a kiss. So it taught me a lesson just to be super cautious because there is a sensitivity that has evolved that is real. If people feel it, it's true, and it has to be respected.
I mean, the other allegations were much more serious than kissing on the cheek.
It's an incredible clip.
Yeah, anyway.
That was on The View, by the way. So first was Stephanie Rule, this next one was on The View. I mean, Ryan, has anyone ever considered him, because my memory is yes, to be a talented politician in his own right and not someone who coasted off his father's name and his family's connections? Because back in COVID, obviously, there were a million different stories at first about how brilliantly he was handling it in New York. But it just seems like so obvious that he's not a good politician. He's bad at this. And he thinks he's good at it because he's coasted, again, off of his name and his family connections for so long.
Not exactly. What he is he's a very good old school Tammany Hall, New York style politician.
Which doesn't necessarily work in this media climate.
Yeah. He's not somebody who appeals to people.
Yeah.
He very deliberately prevented New York from being a place where you could have mass democracy. I don't know if people know this story, but there was this thing called the Independent Democratic Conference that existed in the New York Senate, which Cuomo created and organized to caucus with Republicans so that Republicans would control, without having won the votes, would control the New York Senate. Why? You're like, wait a minute, hold on a second. That's the wildest thing I've ever heard. Why would a Democrat actively elevate the Republicans to control the Senate? Well, because then voters can't do anything and demand anything. Because all the demands then have to funnel through a divided Albany. And the system that he created was called 3 men in a room. And it was the leader of the Senate, leader of the Assembly, and the governor.
3 men, 1 room.
3 men, 1 room. And it didn't matter what you wanted. Like, it didn't matter what you campaigned on. It didn't matter what voters said were their preferences out of New York. What mattered was what these 3 men in the room wanted. And the way that they enforced discipline was through vengeance and also through doling out cash. You sign up with us, you're on Team Cuomo, you're going to get the spoils. You don't, you will never work in this town again. And so he was very good at that kind of Albany knife wielding, and very good at setting up a structure that kept the public at bay. It was in 2018, so after Trump was elected in 2016, I cover this in my book, the New Yorkers started paying attention to politics for the first time. So you would have turnout in these elections of like in the thousands, or in the
DSA
hundreds.
is like shot in the arm, right?
DSA, but also importantly, Indivisible and these suburban women and women in the city and men, but driven by women who were like, wait a minute, what's the Independent Democratic Conference? But it caucuses with Republicans? That doesn't sound right. And they're like, oh no, this is right. This is a thing. And they're like, wait, Cuomo did this? So they recruited a bunch of challengers to these fake Democrats. And along with the Mamdani wave, and the AOC wave, they beat these IDC people. They knocked them out. And then they finally made it actually Democrat in the Senate and Democrat in the House, Assembly. And then they no longer had an excuse of why they couldn't pass anything. And so then they started passing a lot of clean energy stuff, all sorts of prison reform, like genuinely progressive stuff started getting done in New York. And that was an absolute nightmare for Cuomo. And he started to unravel. He then got saved for a little while by COVID because he kind of looked authoritative compared to Trump when he would do his like little TV things. Right. But then people found out that he was like killing old people in the nursing homes and covering up the stats. And so and then all the sexual harassment stuff came out. And for some reason, the story did not end there.
No.
Here we are in 2025 mentioning the brother's name.
The story...
Go away, dude.
Again, the story didn't end when he lost an election. Right. He's sticking around. Yeah. Actually, everything you just explained about his mastery of the spoils system in Albany explains why he's also sort of like stone-faced, deadpanning to Stephanie Ruhle. It's why do I share donors with Donald Trump? They know us. They know us.
Right.
Yeah.
My coalition is with Republicans.
But also...
Literally.
But also what we trade in is trust, like in this personal knowledge system that, this is what we do in New York. Of course, people who know us know that they can get stuff out of both of us. That's what he's saying. That's the unsaid part of it.
He's basically rephrasing George Carlin. He's like, well, why would they support me and Trump? Stephanie, because it's a big club and we're in it.
Yeah, right. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. And it's so true that if you pull the FEC records of most very successful people, whether they're in New York or elsewhere, you find some donations to ours, some donations to D's. They know what they're up to.
We're all friends here.
Let's roll C3. This is another another exchange that Cuomo had on The View.
I am the last person President Trump wants as mayor of New York City because he dealt with me as governor. New Yorkers watched the movie every day. During COVID, I was the governor, he was the president. We fought on a daily basis. He came with all his threats, and all his power and might, threatened to put me in jail, had me investigated twice by the Department of Justice, threatened to cut off federal funds.
So he
if
would
we
like
didn't get...
Mandani to win.
Mandami
Yes.
is a gift for him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell
A
us.
gift. He wants Mandami. 2 reasons. One, going into the midterms, he will take a picture of Mandami, run around the country and say, here's what happened to the Democrats. They are now communists. They hate the police. They legalize prostitution, legalize drugs. They want to elect this Democrat. No experience whatsoever. Being mayor of New York would be his first real job. It's good for Donald Trump because it's the excuse he needs to take over New York, which he said he will do.
Mamdani. They keep calling him Mamdani. But Ryan, in that exchange, when Cuomo says Donald Trump, he's Donald Trump's worst nightmare. Andrew Cuomo is Donald Trump's worst nightmare. Just incredible point. Because I think actually it's true. Republicans, to some extent, know that they'll be able to run, just like they did with AOC, and they did this with Nancy Pelosi forever, but run the picture of Mamdani in ads and talk about him all of the time and try to make him look like he's representative of where the Democratic Party is. That's all true. But Donald Trump does not want a Dem socialist running his favorite city in the world. It's just also the idea that he's afraid of Andrew Cuomo is completely insane too.
And what do you think Trump's actual nightmares are? What's a Trump
Does he
nightmare?
dream? These are the questions.
I imagine him dreaming that there's somebody counting his golf strokes.
I was just going to say that.
They're like, you didn't have a 4 there.
Calling him on it.
Yeah.
That would
And he's
be.
like, I had a 4. It's like, you were 4 still in the fairway. What are you talking about?
That probably is. To the extent. I mean,
And
if he
then
dreams.
he finds out, and then there's all this footage, and they're counting his strokes on the footage.
In order to have nightmares, one must sleep. And
That's
Donald
true.
Trump does not sleep.
That's true.
So I'm skeptical of any of this.
Probably why he doesn't sleep. He's probably scared of nightmares.
Wow, it's going really deep here. So Zohran Mamdani posted his October 7th statement, and it became, this is the most predictable news cycle in the world, a lightning rod for the broader Israel debate. We can put C4 on the screen. This is some coverage of it from Mediaite. And Ryan, this is one of your beats. One thing I would say, just right off the bat, is, well, here, you get into it.
Well,
and
do we
then
have the statement?
The statement is, if you scroll down, there'll be some tweets with it. But here, you.
2 years ago today, Hamas carried out a horrific war crime, killing more than 1,100 Israelis and kidnapping 250 more. I mourn these lives and pray for the safe return of every hostage still held and for every family whose lives were torn apart by these atrocities. In the aftermath of that day, Prime Minister Netanyahu and the Israeli government launched a genocidal war, a death toll that now far exceeds 67,000, with the Israeli military bombing homes, hospitals, and schools into rubble. Every day in Gaza has become a place where grief itself has run out of language. I mourn these lives and pray for the families that have been shattered. Our government has been complicit through it all. This must end. The occupation and apartheid must end. Peace must be pursued through diplomacy, not war crimes. And our government must act to end these atrocities and hold those responsible to account. These last 2 years have demonstrated the very worst of humanity. We must answer it by modeling the very best, a relentless pursuit of our higher ideals and an unwavering commitment to universal human rights. The Atlantic's David Frum, Mediaite notes, shared the statement and added, "This is a genuinely useful statement. The chilly, formulaic language about the 10/7 atrocity, the intense, angry passion of the denunciation of Israel's self-defense. Together, they arrestingly reveal what the author cares about and who he does not care about," unquote. So that's David Frum, who we will talk about later in the program.
More to come.
We just busted him writing speeches for the Israeli ambassador while also profiling the Israeli ambassador. But back to the Mamdani statement, you notice at the top it says he got blasted by both sides. The left really didn't blast him over this. What the left did say is that this line, Hamas carried out a horrific war crime, killing more than 1,100 Israelis, is not factually true. There were more than 1,100 Israelis and some foreigners were killed. I don't think they're quibbling over the foreigners. Were killed on October 7th, but we know for an absolute fact that a non-trivial number were killed by Israel. That Israeli media has reported that as a fact. We don't yet know the number of it. It may take it under 1,100. Like that was what the left was saying.
Aaron Mate, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that the left was like piling on the state.
No, well, unless you consider.
Because also, the left would also acknowledge, like, if Hamas did not launch the attack, Israel would not have then, enacted the Hannibal Directive to kill because it's this thing called the Hannibal Directive where Israel has a doctrine whereby it's better to stop the hostages from becoming hostages by killing them in some cases, because then you don't have to negotiate over them. You just kill them. It's like, you're like, that's insane. Yeah, that is insane, but that's like a thing that is done. It was done in some kibbutzim. It appears to have been done on the beach, where I think 17 Israelis were killed. We don't know the number yet, but it may be enough to take it under 1,100. Anyway, that's the quibbling from the left. But the right...
Well, but I mean, they're right-wing Democrats that were upset with the statement, too. That's...
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So they're saying that right-wing Democrats... Yeah, so... And what's their argument? That you shouldn't talk about... That you should only talk about what happened on October 7th and not the 2 years since?
So here's... Not that anyone needs my very, very unsolicited political advice, seriously, but the way that I would look at it, I actually didn't see... I mean, I think the right-wing Democrats and the right-wingers, they just don't want any part... Like, nothing would have been good enough from Mamdani, and there's no version of this statement that would have been acceptable to them. I also, I didn't think the statement was that bad. I would have just used the first paragraph on 10.7 and then used all the rest of it on 10.8, because I think it's perfectly reasonable on 10.7 to focus on the attack on the Israelis, and then 10.8, go all in on the slaughter of civilians in Gaza. 10.7 and 10.8 are different days. 10.7 is the day that Israeli civilians in many cases were attacked. 10.8 is the day that this disgusting, awful war began. And I would just separate it into two. But once again, I'm aware nobody needs that political advice from me. But that's kind of how I was looking at it.
Yeah, and it also shows where we are in our politics, that this is infuriating so many people, because so it's not just the 1,100 thing that people picked up on, but there are a lot of other things that I don't think anybody expects a public figure like Mamdani to take the kind of maximalist position, but there are a lot of concessions embedded in this statement as well.
Yes.
He refers to them hostages still held.
Right.
And, the people still held were military. So people say, well, those are prisoners. Like if you're captured in battle, you're a prisoner, not a hostage, or you're at least a captive. What else?
I'm sure that people don't love that he referred to it as a war crime in the first sentence.
Well, there were definitely war crimes carried out, but
But even saying it's a war,
people would say, right, exactly. You could say that war crimes were included in the act of resistance.
Right.
So yes, right. There are significant concessions being made in here. That's a good point there on that one too.
He's in a very, very, very tough spot. There's no question about it. And New York is, the concentration of the Jewish population in New York is higher than it. Is it the highest outside of Israel of any major city?
I think it's second to Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
But huge numbers of those, if not a majority, voted for Mamdani.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is I've seen a bunch of people pull out polls saying New York Jews don't support Mamdani, but it's a pretty significant portion actually do.
Yeah, under 40.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.